Hi, Tricia. Thanks for coming to be here with us today. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you about your Maryland Archaeology Month topic. So let's go ahead and get started. Could you tell us a little bit about your work in general, where you work and what you do there?
Hi, Kat. It's nice to see you, and I'm happy to be here today. Yeah, I work at the Maryland Archaeological Conservation Lab, or MAC Lab for short. And the lab is home to about 10 million archaeological artifacts from all over the state of Maryland and its 12,000-year human history. We also curate the records that go along with those archaeological artifacts, all of the maps and the photographs and the documentation that went along with removing them from the ground or underwater so that sense can be made of them. The lab is also home to a premier archaeological conservation facility where artifacts are cleaned, stabilized, and treated using the most up-to-date conservation techniques. And we're also located on a 560-acre park in Calvert County along the Patuxent River. And that 560 acres is home to about 70 plus archaeological sites. And the park staff preserve those sites and do excavations with the public on those sites.
That's a lot. You're busy.
It's fun. It's so much fun.
So that leads right into my next question, which is, what is your favorite thing about your job?
You know, I think working as a team with an incredible group of people, both here at the lab and at the park and throughout Maryland, is one of my favorite things about this job. And the 10 million artifacts, that's not bad either. And being able to make those artifacts available to the public and to students and researchers, either here on site, so actual physical access to the artifacts collections themselves, or through any one of our numerous digital resources. Those are the things that I really, really like about my job.
Awesome. Well, how did you get into archaeology then, and what keeps you in it still?
So I was going to be a medical doctor, and then I found out that I didn't do too well with the sight of blood. So that was kind of out the door. But I took a class as an undergraduate at the College of William and Mary from James Dietz. And this was really shortly after he had written his best-selling, at least in the archaeological world, book, In Small Things Forgotten. And we were assigned that book for class. And between that really publicly accessible book about archaeology and historical research, and his really dynamic and engaging teaching style, and that led me to think, well, this might be really interesting. So I got myself enrolled in a field school, and from the very first time I picked up an artifact while we were doing survey in a plowed field, it was like, that was it. There was nothing else I wanted to do.
Yeah, there's a hook. I understand.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So more specifically then, tell us a little bit about your Maryland Archaeology Month topic.
So this year's theme, working with descendant communities to discover the past, fits in really perfectly with a project that we are doing at the lab right now. The park's Witnesses of Wallville project is working with descendants to articulate the history of a small rural community down here where the park is located, and that community is named Wallville. And we're looking at the social and economic history of Wallville's Black residents, as well as the important roles that are played by churches, schools, social organizations, and extended family. And looking at how this community's Black citizens crafted new lives and new possibilities for themselves, even in the face of, as they confronted racism and bigotry well into the mid-20th century. And we're using archaeology, historical research, oral history, map research to give voice to both ancestors and descendants of particularly for prominent and interconnected Black families through this project. And we're preparing a synthetic history and interpretive materials for this project. And we're about wrapping that up now.
That's awesome. We'll look forward to seeing those. So why do you think that this is an important topic to talk about now?
Well, I think, it fits in really well with Governor Wes Moore's initiatives on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and really tells important stories and stories that are often overlooked about the development of Black communities after the Civil War and through Reconstruction and into the 20th century. And oral histories, collecting oral histories and reanalyzing older oral histories that were done in the 80s and 90s by the park here, Jefferson Patterson Park and Museum. But collecting these newer oral histories is really critically important because these residents and former residents are aging out. And it's really critical to record their memories so that future generations can learn about this community, which in many ways has vanished. At least the Black community has vanished from the landscape down here in Wallville.
Absolutely. It's really important work, and we're really grateful that you're doing it. Well, thank you for joining us today to talk about this, and I look forward to hearing more about the project as you put it all together.
Thanks so much, Kat. I enjoyed it.
Likewise.